Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Tracey Jones. And in this Crisis Leadership podcast, we're going to talk about the critical nature of finding exemplary followers. Leaders need to find followers who are all in and exhibit great critical thinking skills. And the more you find followers like this, the sooner you're going to be able to navigate your way out of the crisis. So listen in and learn how you can find and cultivate exemplary followers.
You're listening to Tremendous Leadership with Dr. Tracey Jones.
Hi there, this is Dr. Tracey Jones, and in this Crisis Leadership podcast, we are going to talk about the importance of leaders finding the most exemplary, effective, and efficacious followers out there. So the organizational door to exiting any crisis can only be unlocked by the followers and not the leaders, and how these followers see their future. And it's so important to understand, especially in a crisis, a leader by themselves cannot navigate out of an organizational crisis, okay? The followers have to be an integral part of this. And so in previous podcasts, we had covered implicit leadership theory, implicit followership theory, and how the leaders and followers are really in a dance and they can bring out the best and the worst in one another. So leadership and followership are kind of two sides of the same coin. And when I'm talking about followers, I want to share a definition of followership. So followership is reaching a specific goal while respecting authority, having a positive attitude, and showing integrity and self-discipline. So you need that in normal operations, but you really need that, especially in a crisis situation. So as with my other podcasts, I'm going to share with you a free online test that you can take to find out what is your followership typology, and what you can do. There's 5 different categories we're going to cover, how you can navigate out of the 4 that you don't want to be and become an exemplary follower. So why I became so interested in studying followership is I shared a little bit about this in the intro, all this stuff about leadership, and I'm like, dear Lord, it's an organization. There's tons of people in it. Running an organization has to fall to more than just the leader, and that is the absolute truth. A huge swath of it is the followers. So I have a book by Robert Kelly called The Power of Followership. I reference this extensively in my dissertation. And Robert Kelly writes in the back of this, without his armies, Napoleon was just a man with grandiose ambitions. And what's so exciting to me about the leadership literature is now we're really reversing the lens and we're studying more about the importance of followership. So it's a free online test that you can take. And it's based on Robert Kelly's construct of followership. Now, there's a lot of different ones out there, but this is my favorite, okay? Just like the Big 5 personality trait is my favorite one to take. So Kelly has 2 axes for how you gauge how effective a follower is. And the first axis is critical thinking. Do your followers exhibit critical thinking skills and not critical spirit? I hear some people that are like, well, I say no to everything, or I poo-poo everything. And that's a critical spirit. That's not critical thinking. Critical thinking is when you're looking for solutions, you're trying to solve problems, you're bringing stuff up to the boss to say, hey, this is what I think we should do. And then when a consensus is made, you salute and you move on. And that brings me to my second axis, and that is level of engagement. Okay, all in. How in are you? Are you holding back? Are you kind of middle of the road? Or are you all in? And in a crisis, you need followers who score high on the critical thinking scale and who score 100% in the all in. Because if everybody is not bailing as fast as they can, the ship is going to sink. So I want to break down these 5 categories of followership typologies. And the beauty is you can take this, go take this right now after you get done with this, find out what kind of follower you are. It's also going to tell you what kind of a leader you best respond to. Let everybody in the organization take it. And the free online test that I have seen that you take also then give you suggestions about how, if you have people that are in a certain category, you can move them to become exemplary, and how, if you are in a category, how you can cultivate your followership skills. Because I've always told people, when you want to complain about your boss, if you want a better leader, be a better follower, okay? And Rodney Dangerfield has one of my favorite quotes. He says, men who do what needs to be told without being told to do it draw the most wages, all right? So followers, it's time to step up. The very existence of getting out of the crisis depends on you guys and you alone, all right? So leaders, watch for these traits. So let's talk about the 5 different types of typology. First is those that score low on the critical thinking skill and low on the engagement. Okay, these are called passive followers, and this is typically about 15 to 20% of the population. I call them sheeple or lemmings. Okay, they lack responsibility, they lack initiative. If you're not lighting a fire under their butts, boy, nothing would get done. You ask them for input and they look at you like, why are you asking me? Okay, these people, if they start out like this, they better get engaged, because you know what I tell them, if you're not fired with enthusiasm, you're going to be fired with enthusiasm. An organization has no place for people that aren't going to critically think or be all in. Sheeple cannot exist in a crisis. Sheep run off. And a runoff sheep is a dead sheep, okay? You need to let people know, I need you involved, I need your input, I need to hear what you think, especially in a crisis, and I need you all in. So that's the first type of follower, is passive. Then there's low thinking, but they're high engagement, okay? And these are called conformists. These are your yes people. These are your people pleasers. This is your mom, okay? This is somebody saying, oh, you know, you're the greatest thing. Now this is tough, because we want to tell our boss what they think they need to hear. So although they're engaged, if you were making the wrong decision and about to crash the organization, they wouldn't say anything, because they're low on the critical thinking skills. Okay, they're very unenterprising. Watch for this. This is a huge part of the population, and as leaders, we're often blind to this, because they are engaged, but a leader is going to see stuff at the 50,000 level foot. Okay, different people are going to be at different levels, and so they're going to need to be honest and forthcoming about what they see at their level. So very important. You can't have the conformists. You can't have the yes people. Okay, then you get the people that are kind of middle on the range of thinking and middle on the gauge of middle on the level of engagement. And these are called the pragmatists. I call these followers the survivors. They're the politicians, okay? They're the ones that when it's good to be engaged, they're not, and when it's not, they're very self-serving. And did you know that politics is actually Greek? The word poly means many, and the word ticks means bloodsuckers. I thought you'd like that. That was one of my dad's favorite jokes. So these are the people that they'll do whatever they think is fashionably vogue. Tell them to get off the fence, okay? You know what? Get off the pot, all right? And so these kind of followers, you just don't know where they're going to land, and they're self-serving, they're fence sitters. Tell them to commit, go all in, all right? And to think and to get engaged. Next, you have the people that are really high in critical thinking but low in engagement. And Kelly identifies these followers as alienated followers, okay? So what happened here was they are kind of the lone wolves, the independents. They kind of sit over there and they'll watch what you're doing with a kind of cynical eye, but they won't go all in. They're going to drag their feet. Now, let me tell you something. I was an alienated follower for many decades. And the reason people become alienated followers is typically these people were all in at one time, but something happened. They got thrown under the bus. Somebody disregarded them, was dismissive, somebody did something unethical, or somebody stole their idea, and all of a sudden they became disengaged, all right? So they're still in mentally, but they're going to be low with giving support. You need to not throw these guys to the wayside. Do everything you can to sit down with your alienated followers and say, hey, it's almost like when you fall out of love. Hey, remember when we got married and we made this vow and we loved each other? What happened? Let's get back to that. Because if these alienated followers at any time were once all in, you can get them back all in, but talk to them, all right? You need them full engagement, because they're going to be great thinkers, okay? But you need them all in. You need them to come back alongside and engage with you. All right. So the final type of follower is the follower that you want to have on your team, and you want to be yourself. Okay. These are the high thinkers and a high level of engagement. These are exemplary followers. These are pretty much co-leaders. These are the people that when you can't make it in, or you take them to go do a press release or deal with something online, they will represent the organization well. They'll do the right thing. They're co-leaders. They're collaborative. They're trustworthy. You don't just trust them, but you entrust them. So these are the people that are going to come alongside you, your inner sanctum, to help you come out as a leader, because you can't do it all yourself. So as you go through this typology, what I'd recommend for you after listening to this, have everybody in your organization take this test and find out what type of follower they are. And then sit down with them and talk to them about how we need everybody to be all in their level of engagement and all in their level of critical thinking, because that is the only way the organization is going to successfully navigate out of the crisis. And the sooner sooner all your followers are all in and critical thinkers, the sooner the organization can come out, the leader can be more strategic and get out of the morass, all right? So I hope that you enjoyed this discussion of followership. I found this book, The Power of Followership, and the Robert Kelly followership construct to be absolutely brilliant. Before you hire anybody, before you keep anybody on, before you have anybody in your life, find out what kind of follower they are, because this is going to impact you as a leader. It's either going to make your job incredibly easy or incredibly hard or somewhere in the middle. And it's a real eye-opener for people to understand. Everybody thinks they're great at their job and they're wonderful followers. But it's really good to see this test to see, hey, this is really where you land, and this is how you work best. So I hope that gave you some great insights into the type of followers you need in your organization. As a crisis leader, you need great crisis followers who become great crisis co-leaders, who become great crisis leaders. So I hope that helps you today. And wherever you listen to podcasts, if you would do us the honor of leaving us a 5-star review. Also, please check us out at Tremendous Leadership. Drop us a note and check us out, because you can find tons of other wonderful leadership, personal development, and motivational materials to help you on your crisis leadership journey.
Thank you for listening to Tremendous Leadership with Dr. Tracey Jones. Find out more about Dr. Jones at www.tremendousleadership.com. If you've been ignited by something you heard in this episode, let us know by leaving a review for Tremendous Leadership wherever you listen to podcasts, or by sending us a message through www.tremendousleadership.com.